Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. And today, we're talking Wandering Inn. Every single week I read at least one chapter of The Wandering Inn. I then talk you guys through kind of what happens and then my thoughts and theories and feelings on what I've read. Last week, it might have actually been the week before last, I managed to get 2 chapters nailed in, and I had time enough to do 2 chapters tonight, but things kind of ran away with me with my other book that I'm reading that I'm just really loving and enjoying. And I'll be honest with you guys, I forgot I had to make this video. I was going to do it tomorrow, then remembered wife and kids are home all day and I don't want you guys to have to listen to screaming kids, so here we are. I've read 1 chapter. It was chapter 18, I want to say. We're going to just quickly open it up. Chapter 17. So I read it exclusively via Kindle. Didn't do any audio for this one, just Kindle, and had a really good time with this one. This was one of the best chapters in a really long time. So it flashed back to Ryoka meeting Teriarch for the first and then second time. It also involved like a really cool like monster thing. So the fun part is that Ryoka and we via Ryoka get to relive all of Teriarch's like mistakes that he fixes with like memory magic, and I feel like this might be a reference to something that I have seen, like a TV show or a movie or something, but I could be wrong. So that was really funny. Teriarch as a character is funny, and I think that Pirate Arbor is going for a kind of very specific archetype of character with them, and I'm genuinely looking forward to just the next time they pop up. It's quite funny that they might also be like, I guess, heavily involved in like some actually serious shenanigans, like with Magnolia and stuff, because at the moment they are not a serious dragon at all. Really interesting as well, that obviously drakes and dragons are related. I would like to learn more about that. I know that some drakes have the ability to breathe fire. I think Captain Zavara has it. I could be wrong. I think Captain Zavara has it, and that it's mentioned in the Skinner attack at the end of Volume 1. However, still very interesting. What else? So that's a big thing. Val is being great. I think he's a really interesting character, and he appears to almost be a love interest for both Eren and Ryoka, or at least for Ryoka. There's a sequence later on where Eren is changing lyrics from man to woman, and I don't know I don't know the song well enough to comment on what that's about, or in fact, it's not really related to what I'm talking about with Val, so whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so the Val stuff is good. He's a good character and he's interesting, and he's also interesting as a contrast to the rest of the characters. So he's extremely high level. He says that when you get to over level 30, you're one of like 1,000 people on the continent, which is really interesting because Eren gets to level 21 in this chapter, so we know she's leveling fast, but this is really, really interesting. So we're getting to the point where we're like, right, she's going to be she has innkeeping, which is a money-making class. He says that when you hit level 30 and you have money-making classes, you basically rake it in, which is really interesting, and I would like to see how that kind of changes the dynamics of what's going on with the inn and with the characters that live and surround it. We've also learned in previous chapters that all the merchants in Liscor have just copied the hamburger, but Erin mentions that she's doing fries and Philly cheesesteaks in this chapter, which is fun. I've never had a Philly cheesesteak because I'm vegetarian and have been since the 90s, and Philly cheesesteaks were not readily available in the southwest of the UK at that time. You could get one now. I mean, you get one at Subway or whatever, but like you can get a decent one now, but not before I was, like not 30 odd years ago when I was the last time I ate meat out of choice. So yeah, I've never had a Philly cheesesteak. I have had a Quorn steak, like a fake meat steak, and I did enjoy that. Very peppery. It's got like a pepper topping on it. I'm not a big meat guy, to be honest, guys. I'd rather just have lentils or tofu, and I know that is a controversial opinion, and everyone can eat whatever they want, and I do not judge anyone for eating whatever they want. But yeah, I've been vegetarian for many, many, many years, and my son is actually allergic to a lot of animal products, so we don't tend to have much in the house anyway. We are like 99% plant-based diet. Not 100%, obviously, because I still eat, I will have, milk in cereal or whatever, things like that. Anyway, this isn't really what you guys came for, but that's a little insight into my life and how I live. So Erin she's serving out the Philly cheesesteaks. Everyone loves the hamburgers. There's a thing that keeps coming up where Erin is like, this person ate 4 hamburgers, and like, I'm a big guy and I like my food, and I will sometimes, if I'm making burgers at home, I'll have 2 burgers, but I won't have 4 burgers. Like 4 burgers is so many burgers, and like she's not making sliders, right? She's making real burgers. So like 4 burgers is 4 burgers is so many burgers. This is like when Pirate Abba's like, and she ran from this side of the continent to the other, and I'm like, this would take literally days, and she would be the fastest runner on earth. And like, there's like that sort of, it's just funny. Like, maybe Pirate Abba just loves burgers and eats a lot of burgers, but like, to me, 4 burgers is so many burgers. Like, for example, I've told you guys in the past that I like running, and when I ran an ultra marathon, I came home and I ate an entire Domino's pizza, but I couldn't have had like 2 pizzas. And I can regularly eat an entire Domino's pizza if I want to, if I'm hungry. So it's not like, I don't know. It's just funny. It's like the Flash, how the Flash has to classically in the like Silver Age of comics, Flash used to have to eat like thousands upon thousands of calories because that was what he was burning through running. But then I think a comic book writer was like, this is very ridiculous. Like the amount of time spent running, he would need to literally spend all of his time eating, and they kind of made a comic-y way around it. But it's quite funny that she's like, Ryoka's done a lot of running, so I guess she's going to eat 6 burgers. I've spent like 3 minutes talking about how many burgers these characters eat. However, so then one of the big things that comes out is Ryoka's like, oh, Pisces, can you repair my iPhone? And he's like, oh, well, for a charge. And Shirio's like, I could learn that spell in a single day and I will do it for free. So Pisces just does it for free. Interestingly, Ryoka does not seem interested in trying to learn the spell herself, though she's done the light ball thing and she knows that she is magical or magically inclined. So maybe she should be trying to learn that spell, but maybe it's one of those things where she'd have to level to learn that spell, and obviously she's refusing to level out of some stubborn, stupid notion. So we've got a repaired iPhone, and this is also, I completely forgot the previous time when she used the iPhone, because Ryoka was like really tired and they went to town and she used the iPhone by mistake in town, and all the gnolls who have very, very acute hearing were like tapping their feet to it. And then so that happens, and it's kind of a precursor to what happens later. But basically, Erin's like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to some music." So she's like, "Oh, Ryoka, can I borrow your phone?" And she listens to some music, and it gives her like that, that piece of home. Sorry, my eyes are really itchy this evening, so you guys are just watching me rub my eye. I hope that a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. I put effort into these videos, right? I record them in 4K, which takes more storage space, takes longer to edit, takes longer to export, all this sort of stuff. I do that because I would like the videos to look good. However, I do sometimes hope that people watch these videos with their screen off, just listening to them, because if you're just sat there looking at my face doing weird ass bullshit, then yeah, that's an odd relationship for us to have, Anyway, so yeah, Erin plays some music, and she's listening, and some of the people in the inn are like kind of straining to listen in, and then one of them asks to listen to it as well, and Erin's like, right, I've just unplugged the headphones and we can all listen to some tracks. There are a few songs. I think Hey There Delilah is the first one that is called out, which is, I'm pretty certain it's a Plain White T's song, which is not where I would have gone, I guess, for first song to be played, but whatever. What would I have picked? If I'm going to introduce fantasy characters to modern music for the first time, I feel like I'd pick like an all-timer classic song. Something like Fire and Rain by James Taylor. Like, you start them in with something slower, and then you move on to like something more upbeat, and then you introduce more modern musical types. And you start with you go into the Beatles maybe. Anyway, so they listen to that, and everyone in the inn gets emotional, which I'm wondering if this is Erin using Immortal Moment, because the Plain White T's have never made me cry. And I don't think that they would. I could see why it might Erin, but I don't see why Pisces is sad listening to Hey There Delilah, So there's a part of me that's like, well, that's possibly Erin using Immortal Moment there to build the emotion in the room. Anyway, so then she's like, oh, could you make this louder? And Pisces is like, yeah, sure. And he makes it louder, and she's like, could you make it really loud? And then she just starts blasting music from the roof of the inn, and this is really fun. She is just blasting music, and she also starts singing along. She later gets some skills in singing, which is perfect recall and modulate pitch, and she gains the singer, but she gets singer class 6 straight away up to 6, which again shows you how fast that she's leveling. Yeah, there's a lot of songs mentioned, some Disney songs like I'll Make a Man Out of You and a song from Tarzan, and Erin is just blasting the music from the roof of the inn while singing, and the entire town is entranced and comes up, and Captain Zavara's trying to shut it down, and the crowd are no, pulling her off the roof and stuff. It's real fun. It is exactly the kind of slice of life cozy that I enjoyed from some of the early chapters of The Wandering Inn, but it still also is weaving in elements of the overarching story that I'm interested in, so stuff about Teriarch, and it's also including all of my favourite side characters like Cheeria, Pisces, Captain Zavara, Olism. Klibich isn't in it, but I'm still wanting to know a bit more about what's going on with him, being the Revelator or whatever that new job title is. And there's still shady stuff going on with the Antinium. I think his POV chapter from very early in the book was quite made him feel a lot more antagonistic as a character than I had originally set him as, from the way that he behaved from Erin's point of view. So yeah, very interesting in terms of what's going on. Yeah, this was just overall a very good chapter, and I am excited to read the next few. Maybe I should have read these chapters during the day today when I had some free time, and I chose to listen to a podcast instead. I could have been listening to these via audiobook while driving today, because I drove into the office, so, you know, is that my fault? Yes. However, I do prefer the ebook on these to the audio experience. Some of the voices, great on me is not the right term, but it's the only way I can think of to express it. I like that the voices are so differentiated that it's so obvious who is speaking. But some of the voices are a little much in terms of what I want from audiobook narration. They've got a little bit like, it's not like too much going on, but like enough that's going on, if that makes sense. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really enjoyed this chapter, and this is revitalizing my enjoyment of The Wandering Inn, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going on next. And of course, this chapter ends on the thing that I predicted, which is that the chessboard is a magical chessboard so that she can use to play chess with the dude who sent her the chessboard. Which is exactly what I thought it was going to be. But it will be very interesting to see how that particular storyline evolves. Fun to see that Val is kind of sticking around, but then is like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be here for a while. And they're like, actually, no, I'm not coming back probably because I barely ever come down here. Though I would imagine that he's now going to do what a lot of the Wandering Inn supporting characters do, which is contrive reasons to be down this way. So I'm sure we will not be seeing the end of him or the back of him. Torrhen still mentioned as being missing. Poor old Torrhen, pouring one out for my favourite skeleton. Really interested to see what's going on with him. Hopefully we'll get a chapter on him soon. I think the next chapter is also an Erin chapter. But yeah, great chapter, great book. Loved my reading this week. Maybe it's because I came to it with the great mood from having read something else that I'm really enjoying. I'm currently reading, this is not probably of that much interest to everyone, but I'm reading a novel called Marvel's What If. The Scarlet Witch was Spider-Man's sister, and I'm not a big Scarlet Witch fan, but I love Spider-Man. My son is named Peter after Spider-Man, and I'm really enjoying this kind of alternate take on the characters, and yeah, looking forward to reading more of that as well. If you're interested in hearing more about that, there'll be a review on Monday. Otherwise, not so much Wandering Inn content next week, just the standard chapter episode. I'll say this now, I'm planning on doing extra chapters next week. I was planning on doing it this week and just ran out of time, and that is my fault. However, we'll see if we can do a few chapters next week. I think it'll be fun. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. I do understand I'm behind on my comments, but I have been going through and trying to reply to some. I do see them all come in, so please do keep writing. Don't think that because I'm not replying, I'm not reading. I am definitely reading them, but I tend to spend the time that I could be spending on replying to comments just catching up on my reading at the moment because I'm a little bit behind. And I will speak to you guys next week. If you haven't subscribed also, please do that. Goodbye.